Have you ever noticed how some days, even the smallest inconvenience feels like a catastrophe? A cold cup of coffee, a brief moment of traffic, or a misunderstood text message can suddenly ruin your entire morning. We feel overwhelmed, irritated, and heavy, as if the world is conspiring to make us unhappy. We often ask ourselves, why is life so difficult? Why do these small things hurt so much? We think that if we could just remove the problems, the salt of life, everything would be perfect. But life does not work that way. The salt will always be there. The truth is, the weight of life's bitterness isn't just about the salt that is thrown our way. It is about the container we use to hold it. Today, we look at an ancient story that reveals the secret to handling pain without letting it poison your spirit. There was once a young man who lived in a state of constant complaint. He was a seeker of wisdom, but his heart was filled with the sourness of life's many disappointments. He found fault in the weather, the food, and the people around him. He felt as though he was drowning in a sea of small miseries. Finally, he sought out a wise old hermit who lived high in the mountains. He told the hermit of his struggles, expecting a complex philosophical answer or a magic spell to make his problems vanish. The hermit listened in silence, his eyes closed. Then, he stood up and handed the young man a small handful of salt. "Put this salt into that bowl of water," the hermit commanded, pointing to a small wooden bowl on the table. The young man did as he was told. The salt dissolved instantly, disappearing into the clear liquid. "Now, drink it," the hermit said. The young man took a sip and immediately spat it out, his face contorting in disgust. "It's bitter. It's undrinkable. It's nothing but salt," he exclaimed, wiped his mouth with his sleeve. The hermit nodded slowly, but said nothing. The hermit then led the young man out of the hut and down a winding path to the edge of a great, crystal-clear lake. The water was so vast that its far shores disappeared into the morning mist, reflecting the soft pinks and oranges of the rising sun. "Now," the hermit said, "take another handful of salt and throw it into the lake." The young man reached into the pouch, took a large handful of salt, even more than before, and tossed it far out into the water. The white grains vanished into the blue depths. "Now, drink from the lake," the hermit instructed. The young man knelt on the mossy bank, cupped his hands, and drank the cool, refreshing water. He smiled as it quenched his thirst. "How does it taste?" asked the hermit. "It tastes wonderful," the young man replied. "It is pure and sweet." "Do you taste the salt?" the hermit asked. "No," the man said. "Not at all." The hermit sat down on a rock and gestured for the young man to join him. "The pain of life is like this handful of salt," he said softly. "It is a constant. No matter where you go or what you do, there will be salt. There will be loss. There will be disappointment. And there will be moments of sudden, sharp bitterness. The amount of salt in the world remains exactly the same. But," he continued, "the amount of bitterness you taste depends only on the container you put it into. When you are suffering, the only thing you can do is enlarge your sense of things. Stop being a bowl. Start becoming a lake." Most of us spend our lives as bowls. Our hearts are small, guarded, and narrow. We focus so intensely on our own problems, our own ego, and our own small circle of comfort that even a tiny pinch of trouble turns our whole life salty. When we are small-minded, our world becomes nothing but our pain. A small bowl has no room for perspective. It has no room for forgiveness. It only has room for the salt. What does it mean to become a lake? It means expanding the capacity of your heart. It means practicing the great inclusion. It means realizing that you are more than your current problem. You are part of a vast human experience. You are part of the sky, the earth, and the infinite flow of time. When your heart is as vast as a lake, you can receive the salt of tragedy, and it will not make you bitter. You can receive the salt of criticism, and it will not poison your peace. You have enough space within you to hold the pain without letting it define the flavor of your life. Think of the lake. It does not fight the salt. It does not try to push the salt back to the shore. It simply absorbs it. Because the lake is so large, the salt becomes insignificant. It is still there, but it is no longer the master of the water. Let's take a moment now to check your own container. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Visualize the one thing that is making your life salty right now. Maybe it's a difficult relationship. Maybe it's a financial worry. Maybe it's a mistake you made that you can't stop replaying in your mind. See that problem as a handful of white salt in your palm. Now, look at your heart. Does it feel like a small wooden bowl? Is it tight? Is it cramped? Is it overwhelmed by that handful of salt? If it is, do not judge yourself. Just notice the tension. Now, imagine your breath is like water. With every deep inhale, imagine you are pouring more water into that bowl. See the walls of the bowl beginning to melt away. Imagine the room around you dissolving. Imagine the walls of your house falling away until you are standing on the edge of that great, mist-covered lake. Breathe in the vastness. Feel the space above you. Feel the depth beneath you. Now, in your mind, throw that salt into the lake. Watch it disappear. Drink from the water. The salt is still in the lake, but where is the bitterness? It is gone. You are the lake. You are the space that holds the salt, but you are not the salt itself. How do we maintain this vastness? It is a daily practice of unnarrowing our focus. 1. Practice gratitude as dilution. Every time you acknowledge something beautiful, a bird's song, a stranger's smile, the air in your lungs, breathe it in. Think of it as adding more water to your container. You are diluting your sorrows with the abundance of reality. 2. Practice radical compassion. When you realize that everyone you meet is also carrying their own handful of salt, your heart softens. When you see a person acting out in anger, see the bowl they are trapped in. This realization breaks your own walls down. 3. Embrace the silence. Spend time where the horizon is wide. Look at the stars. When you connect with the infinite, your ego, the small bowl, naturally shrinks, and your inner space begins to expand to match the universe. The next time life throws a handful of salt your way, and it will, don't focus on the salt. Don't spend your energy trying to fight the flavor. Instead, look at your container. Check your heart. Have you become a bowl again? Have you allowed your world to shrink down to the size of your grievance? Take a deep breath. Feel the vastness within you that you have forgotten. Remind yourself, I am the lake. I have space for this. This salt cannot change the purity of my being. You don't need a life without salt. You need a heart that is vast enough to hold it all and still remain sweet. Be the space. Be the stillness. Be the lake.